Project Snowblind is a futuristic FPS set in the year 2065. You play as Nathan Frost, a soldier critically wounded in battle. He's revived with advanced cybernetic enhancements, turning him into a high-tech super soldier. His mission: stop a growing terrorist threat and restore order in a world on the brink of collapse. The story unfolds in Hong Kong, where a group known as the Republic plans to shut down the world's electronic infrastructure. Frost joins the elite Liberty Coalition to stop them. The game blends themes of war, technology, and transhumanism in a gritty cyberpunk setting. Gameplay is classic first-person shooting with a twist. Frost gains special abilities like thermal vision, time slow, energy shields, and system hacking. These powers allow for varied approaches to combat, encouraging both aggressive and tactical playstyles. The game features a wide selection of futuristic weapons, each with alternate fire modes. Players can also use grenades, deploy combat drones, and drive vehicles. The level design supports multiple strategies, from stealthy infiltration to all-out warfare. Originally developed as a spin-off to Deus Ex project, Snowblind eventually became a standalone title. Still, it shares many similarities: cybernetic upgrades, philosophical undertones, and a high-tech dystopian world, but focuses more on fast-paced action than RPG elements. Fun facts: some enemy AI lines were recycled from Deus Ex Invisible War. Despite its name, there's no snow in the game. Snowblind refers to a surprise attack using an EMP blast. Urban Chaos Riot Response is a gritty first-person shooter set in a city overwhelmed by gang violence. You play as Nick Mason, a member of the elite T0 Riot Control Unit. Your job: restore order on the streets by taking on the brutal Burners gang, who've turned the city into a war zone. The story is told through fast-paced missions that include hostage rescues, bomb defusals, and street warfare. Each level feels like a desperate last stand, with civilians to protect and chaos all around. The game leans heavily into over-the-top action with a gritty urban atmosphere. Combat is intense and close quarters. One of the game's standout features is Nick's Riot Shield, which can block bullets, bash enemies, and even deflect Molotovs. You'll also use tasers, batons, shotguns, and other weapons to take down increasingly aggressive enemies. Missions often pair you with firefighters, paramedics, or fellow T0 officers, each adding support abilities like healing or backup fire. Hostile enemies can set traps, take hostages, or use ambush tactics, keeping the action unpredictable and engaging. Despite its dark setting, Urban Chaos rewards heroic actions. Saving civilians, arresting instead of killing, and completing bonus objectives earns you medals and unlocks new gear. The game encourages players to act like a true rescue officer, not just a one-man army. Fun facts: developed by Rocksteady Studios before they made Batman: Arkham Asylum. The game was known in Europe simply as Urban Chaos. It was one of the first FPS games to use a dedicated riot shield mechanic. The game's violence and realistic riot themes stirred some controversy upon release. XIII is a cel-shaded first-person shooter released in 2003, based on the Belgian graphic novel of the same name. You play as a man with amnesia who wakes up on a beach, accused of assassinating the US president. The only clue to his identity? A small tattoo on his shoulder, the Roman numeral 13. The game's story follows a deep political conspiracy involving a shadowy group known as the XX. As you uncover your past, you'll face elite operatives, double crosses, and hidden agendas. The narrative unfolds like a spy thriller, filled with twists, mystery, and comic book-style drama. XIII stands out visually thanks to its cel-shaded graphics, which mimic a comic book look. Onomatopoeia like bang and boom appear on screen during shootouts. Panels pop up during action scenes and headshots, making the game feel like a comic brought to life. Gameplay mixes stealth and action. You can use guns, crossbows, throwing knives, or go silent with hand-to-hand takedowns. Some missions require sneaking past guards, disguising yourself, or interrogating enemies to move forward. It's not just run and gun, timing and tactics matter. You'll explore varied locations: snowy mountains, military bases, offices, and secret bunkers. The soundtrack adds tension with moody jazz and suspenseful beats. While linear in structure, the pacing and variety keep things fresh throughout the campaign. Fun facts: the game features voice work by David Duchovny, Adam West, and Eve. It was praised for style but criticized for bugs and AI issues. A poorly received remake launched in 2020, followed by a better remake in 2022. The original is now considered a cult classic among FPS fans. TimeSplitters Future Perfect is a fast-paced, time-traveling FPS released in 2005. You play as Sergeant Cortez, a wisecracking soldier sent through time to stop an alien threat known as the TimeSplitters. His mission: prevent their creation and save humanity's future. The story spans several time periods, from WoW to a cyberpunk future, each with unique settings, weapons, and characters. Cortez teams up with allies from different eras, sometimes even teaming up with himself thanks to time loop mechanics that play into both combat and puzzles. Gameplay is tight and arcade-like. The shooting is fast, responsive, and packed with creative weapons like plasma rifles, vintage revolvers, and monkey guns. Levels often include secret areas, bonus objectives, and clever puzzles that break up the action. Multiplayer is a highlight, offering split-screen, bots, and tons of customization. With dozens of characters, including a ninja monkey, wild maps, and crazy game modes, it's a party-friendly shooter that still holds up. The Map Maker mode lets players create their own arenas. The game blends humor and sci-fi in a way few shooters do. Cortez's one-liners, "It's time to split," and the quirky characters give it personality. Even with a serious mission, the game never takes itself too seriously, balancing fun storytelling with frantic action. Fun facts developed by Free Radical, a team of ex-Goldeneye 007 devs. The voice of Cortez is Tom Clark Hill, who also voiced Tony the Tiger. It was meant to be the final part of a trilogy. Despite fan demand, TimeSplitters 4 never officially released, though a revival is rumored. Area 51 is a sci-fi first-person shooter released in 2005. You play as Ethan Cole, a hazmat soldier sent into the infamous military base after a viral outbreak. What starts as a containment mission quickly spirals into a battle against mutants, aliens, and a deep government conspiracy. The story dives into themes of alien cover-ups, secret experiments, and ancient extraterrestrial influence. As Cole explores the base, he uncovers the truth behind the virus, the alien race known as the Greys, and a shadowy group manipulating humanity from the shadows. Gameplay is classic FPS with a twist. You'll use human and alien weapons, and after becoming infected, Cole gains mutant powers, like enhanced vision and a brutal melee attack. Combat blends run and gun action with moments of horror and suspense. The level design ranges from sterile labs to grotesque alien chambers deep underground. Audio logs and hidden files expand the lore, while scripted events and eerie atmosphere keep the tension high. Some sections lean into survival horror territory. Multiplayer includes standard modes like Deathmatch and Capture the Flag, supporting both online and split screen. While not the main focus, it adds replay value and showcases the game's unique arsenal in chaotic arenas. Fun facts: the voice of Ethan Cole is played by David Duchovny, The X-Files, with supporting roles by Marilyn Manson and Powers Booth. Area 51 was a loose reboot of the 1995 arcade game. A sequel, Black Site Area 51, was released in 2007 but received mixed reviews. Cold Winter is a gritty, realistic first-person shooter released in 2005 for PlayStation 2. You play as Andrew Sterling, a former British MI6 agent imprisoned in China. After a covert rescue, he's pulled back into the world of espionage, black ops, and global conspiracies. The story spans missions across China, North Africa, and Eastern Europe, as Sterling uncovers an international plot involving arms deals and rogue nations. The narrative is mature and grounded, filled with betrayal, political tension, and Cold War-style spy drama. Combat is brutal and weighty, with realistic gunplay and physics. You can carry multiple weapons, peek around corners, and throw grenades with a free aiming system. The game also lets you interact with objects and craft items like Molotovs or lockpicks from found materials. Cold Winter sets itself apart with a gritty tone, detailed environments, and a focus on realism. Blood splatter, limb damage, and ragdoll physics add to the intensity. The game mixes corridor firefights with open-area shootouts and stealth-focused sequences. Multiplayer supports split-screen and online play, with customizable loadouts and a variety of modes. It wasn't as popular as other shooters of the time, but offered solid, tactical gameplay for PS2 fans who wanted something more grounded than sci-fi shooters. Fun facts: the game was developed by Swordfish Studios and featured a story co-written by the chronicles of Riddick's screenwriter. Voice acting was done by British TV actors. Despite strong gunplay and realism, Cold Winter was underrated and remains a hidden gem among PS2 shooters. Serious Sam Next Encounter throws players into a non-stop, fast-paced shooter experience made specifically for consoles. Released in 2004, the game is a spin-off with its own wild personality, blending classic Serious Sam chaos with a more arcade-like feel. The story follows Sam, Sirius Stone, chasing the evil mental across time. From ancient Rome to a dystopian future, Sam mows down endless waves of bizarre enemies. The plot is light, but it's all about the action, and the one-liners never stop coming. Gameplay is where Next Encounter shines. It's built for speed, strafing, backpedaling, and shooting hundreds of enemies without ever letting go of the trigger. You'll face headless kamikazes, flying monsters, and armored beasts in arenas that demand constant movement and reflexes. The game includes both single-player and co-op modes, plus a versus multiplayer mode. With split-screen support, it's a blast to play with friends. The weapons are pure over-the-top fun, dual miniguns, rocket launchers, and the ever-satisfying cannonball gun. Visually, it's not a powerhouse, but the colorful, cartoonish art style fits the tone perfectly. The frame rate holds up well even with dozens of enemies on screen, which was crucial for maintaining the game's signature chaos. Fun facts. The game was developed by Climax Solent, not Crow Team. It features a unique art style not seen in other Serious Sam titles. It also introduced a combo system to reward stylish killing sprees, and had several weapons exclusive to this console version. Despite mixed reviews, it became a cult favorite among fans. Goldeneye Rogue Agent flips the script on the James Bond universe. Instead of playing as 007, you step into the shoes of a rogue MI6 agent gone bad, a man who loses an eye in combat and gets it replaced with a high-tech Goldeneye. It's dark, gritty, and packed with a twisted sense of style. The story reimagines Bond lore with a villainous twist. You're recruited by Auric Goldfinger to take down Dr. No in a turf war between classic Bond villains. Along the way, you'll face iconic characters like Oddjob, Scaramanga, and even Xenia Onatop. But this time, they're your allies, or enemies. Gameplay focuses on dual-wielding weapons, using your Goldeneye's abilities and creating chaos. You can hack electronics, see through walls, or use magnetic powers to throw enemies around. It's not your typical stealthy spy shooter. It's more brute force than finesse. The game offers a mix of single-player campaign and multiplayer modes, with maps inspired by Bond films. The PS2 version supports split-screen for up to 4 players. While the AI isn't perfect, the variety of weapons and environments keeps things entertaining. Visually, Rogue Agent has a moody, industrial look, far from the glamour of traditional Bond games. The music and sound design lean into that dark tone, with explosions, gunfire, and eerie ambiance setting the scene for your rise through the criminal underworld. Fun facts. Despite its name, the game has no connection to the movie Goldeneye. It was developed by EA and runs on a modified Medal of Honor engine. The Goldeneye powers were a unique twist for the genre at the time. Also, Christopher Lee and Judi Dench reprised their roles as Scaramanga and M, a rare treat for Bond fans. Darkwatch blends supernatural horror with Wild West action in a unique first-person shooter. Released in 2005 for PlayStation 2 and Xbox, it follows a vampire gunslinger battling undead creatures across a cursed frontier. Think gothic horror meets cowboy chaos, all soaked in blood and moonlight. You play as Jericho Cross, an outlaw bitten by a vampire during a train heist gone wrong. Now part monster, part hero, he joins the Darkwatch, a secret organization hunting the undead. As Jericho battles his own curse, he also fights to stop an ancient evil from spreading. The gameplay mixes fast-paced gunfights with supernatural powers. Jericho can use vampiric abilities like blood vision, gliding through the air and turning enemies into ash. You'll dual-wield revolvers, blast enemies with shotguns, and ride undead horses into battle. Darkwatch also introduces a morality system. Your choices affect Jericho's powers, and even the story's ending. Be a righteous warrior, or fully embrace the vampire within. The game features a solid single-player campaign and local multiplayer for classic split-screen shootouts. Visually, the game stands out with a dark, comic book art style. The environments range from haunted towns to cursed mines, filled with eerie lighting and gruesome details. The soundtrack blends Western twang with horror ambience, creating a truly unique vibe. Fun facts. Darkwatch was developed by High Moon Studios and was originally planned as a trilogy. It features voice acting from Ghost Rider's Fred Tatasciore and even had a canceled PSP version. The game blends influences from Blade, Van Helsing, and classic spaghetti westerns, and it shows. Turok Evolution is a first-person shooter released in 2002 as a prequel to the original Turok Dinosaur Hunter. Players control Tal Set, a warrior from the Lost Land, as he battles against the forces of the evil tyrant, Captain Bruckner, and his army of dinosaurs and mutated creatures. The game features a variety of environments, from dense jungles and ancient temples to futuristic cities and underground caverns. Each level is filled with diverse enemies, including raptors, giant insects, and robotic foes, providing a rich and immersive experience. Gameplay emphasizes exploration and combat, offering a wide array of weapons such as bows, spears, and futuristic guns. Players can also utilize vehicles and engage in intense boss battles, enhancing the dynamic nature of the gameplay. The narrative is delivered through cinematic cutscenes and in-game dialogue, unraveling the story of Talset's journey to stop Bruckner's plans. The game delves into themes of survival, honor, and the battle between good and evil. Multiplayer modes include Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, and Capture the Flag, supporting up to 4 players on platforms like Xbox and GameCube. The addition of AI-controlled dinosaurs in multiplayer matches adds a unique twist to traditional gameplay. Fun facts. Turok Evolution was developed by Acclaim Studios Austin and released for PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube. It was one of the last titles published by Acclaim before the company went bankrupt in 2004. The game received mixed reviews, with praise for its visuals and gameplay, but criticism for its AI and level design.
Thanks for watching.